How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its holiday sale right now, and as I've mentioned in some of the recent deals videos we've done, don't forget that there will be a cycling out of a lot of the deals that are running right now in the PlayStation Store. The majority of the deals will be ending on January the 8th that are running right now. I think a couple of the deals will be staying until the end of the sale on January the 21st, but a lot of the stuff is going to be ending on January the 8th, really January the 7th. Will be your final full day to pick up a lot of these games, so just keep that in mind. I'll give you guys another heads up before it rolls out, but with that being said, I do want to highlight some great PlayStation Store game deals under the price of $5. There's a ton of good stuff. We already did one under $5 video, but now we got another video for you guys, so let's just get right into it. We got 15 games to go over. And let's start things off with a bit of a forgotten IP, and that is Tango Gameworks' Evil Within. Now, a lot of you guys know what happened with Tango Gameworks, owned by Bethesda, got acquired by Microsoft, and then, Microsoft shut them down. Thankfully, Krafton came in and did save Tango Gameworks and Hi-Fi Rush, but Evil Within is still kind of up in the air. I would say that the franchise is probably cooked, but we'll see. We've seen crazier in gaming. I thought Evil Within was a really solid survival horror action title. It is not going to be blow away from a gameplay standpoint. It is totally serviceable, but I've said it before, when it comes to survival horror games, sometimes serviceable is all you need. It's all about the atmosphere and the narratives for me when it comes to horror titles and survival horror games like this, and I thought Evil Within did a pretty solid job in that regard. I would play through Evil Within 1, then check out Evil Within 2 as well, because that's a pretty solid game as well. But yeah, $4.99 on that, pretty good deal there. Tales of Iron is 88% off for $2.99. Great discount on Tales of Iron. Set in a grim land plagued by anthropomorphic medieval war, Tales of Iron is a hand-drawn RPG adventure with punishingly brutal combat. As Reggie, heir to the Wrath Throne, restore your fallen kingdom and banish the merciless Frog Clan and their ferocious leader Green Ward. Explore the deceivingly charmed world and encounter a cast of unique companions ready to aid you in your adventure. Overcome your fears, rescue your brothers, and reclaim your throne. Your tale has begun. A big discount on Tales of Iron, $2.99 for that pretty good deal there. Next up, we've got Degrees of Separation, which is 80% off for $3.99, and you'll save an additional 5% if you're a Plus subscriber. I really enjoyed Degrees of Separation. It's absolutely not a game you should spend any more than $5 on. It's fairly simplistic as a co-op title, and I would highly recommend to play this game cooperatively. You can play it solo. This game was definitely designed with co-op play in mind, where you do have these two characters utilizing fire and ice, and you have to use their abilities and the different mechanics tied to them to navigate throughout the world and progress throughout the game. It's pretty well done. I would say that if you have a significant other you want to get into gaming, or just somebody you want to introduce video games to, Degrees of Separation is not a bad one, in the sense that the gameplay isn't like too in-depth. I feel like somebody new can pick up and play it. That's why I don't recommend Split Fiction a lot as a co-op title for newcomers, just because that game has a lot of depth to it, and I just don't know if a newer person to video games can really get into that game. But nonetheless, Degrees of Separation I actually think is a decent one. It's games like this, games like Haven, that I think are worthwhile, cheaper games, and very charming art styles as well. I love how Degrees of Separation looks. It's a pretty easy game to get into, and I think for that price point, it's pretty darn good. Next up, we got Dragon's Crown Pro, 80% off for $3.99. This is, in my opinion, Vanillaware's weakest outing as far as games that they have done, but it's still a pretty solid game, man. Vanillaware is one of the most consistent studios on the planet, and I thought Dragon's Crown Pro was a solid action RPG. The visual style is still great, soundtrack is pretty good, and for this price point, $3.99, it's a great pickup. It's definitely not at the level of Vanillaware's recent releases in 13 Sentinels and Unicorn Overlord, but it's pretty good for what it is, and this price point I think is pretty solid. Next up, we do have Batman Return to Arkham, 75% off for $4.99. I know you guys love when I mention this for the 80 millionth time, but hey, there's gonna be somebody that hasn't played Batman or Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Given that these games came out in 2009 and 2011 respectively, there is a newer generation of people that are playing video games that have not played Arkham Asylum nor Arkham City. It's insane to think about, but that is the reality, and if you have not, do yourself a favor, go back and play Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, because these games are absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, Rocksteady is absolutely cooked now, but man, they did some of the greatest superhero games of all time with Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. And if you want to say that these are the best superhero games of all time, you know, put them above Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, some of the other really good superhero titles, that's a conversation that is absolutely worth having, and an opinion that I think would have a lot of validity to it. I mean, it's an opinion at the end of the day, but Arkham City is probably the best superhero game that I've ever played, and Arkham Asylum is pretty damn close, and $4.99 for both of those games, definitely a great pickup there. Next up, we got Need for Speed Rivals, 75% off for $4.99. Look, this game I played right when the PlayStation 4 came out. It was one of the launch titles for the PS4, and I remember having a pretty good time with it as far as a racing title goes. It's an arcadey racing game at this stage. It's gonna show its age a little bit, but I still think you're gonna find some enjoyment out of it at a cheap price point. When it comes to arcade racers like Burnout Paradise, Need for Speed Rivals, some of those older ones, if you pay a good price point, you know, south of 10 or even south of $5, I always feel like they're pretty enjoyable games. Are they gonna be blowaway? No. But these are games you can always pop in and have a pretty good time with it. I think for $5, this is a pretty good pickup. Next up, the series has been in the news cycle a little bit recently. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, 85% off for $4.49. Look, we probably won't ever see another Deus Ex game, or, you know, ever's a long time. If we do see another Deus Ex game, I really don't believe it's going to be in the next 10 years, because the game would have to get greenlit, and then it would have to go through the 5-year development cycle, so honestly, that's not that hot of a take. But, man, it's such a bummer, because this franchise had so much potential to it. A fantastic main character. The issue with Mankind Divided, it's a great game. Narratively, it falters a little bit. But an even bigger issue is that I just talked about how with Batman Return to Arkham, you know, you do have these newer people growing up and wanting to go back, or, you know, if you give them a recommendation for a game like Deus Ex Mankind Divided, they might want to check it out. Well, the issue is, the first title, Deus Ex Human Revolution, is just lost in the ether on PlayStation 3. That is one of the games that's just lost on the PS3 that is absolutely criminal, and we need, if we aren't gonna get a new Deus Ex game, can we just get a remastering of Deus Ex Human Revolution, and then I can start recommending that remaster to everybody under the sun, and hopefully it'll sell well enough, and that would at least help get a new Deus Ex game greenlit, and it would in turn make people want to check out Deus Ex Mankind Divided as well. While you're at it, do an upgrade for Mankind Divided. I don't know exactly what the process would be to get that out the door. I'm sure there's some hurdles to cross, but that just makes a lot of sense to me, and I feel like, you know, I want to recommend this game because it's a great action RPG. It does have some issues, again, with its narrative, but me recommending this game at this point, I would highly recommend you to play Human Revolution, and the reality is, digging up your PlayStation 3 probably isn't in the cards, or getting a PlayStation 3 probably isn't in the cards for most of you, so it is what it is. But it is a good RPG. I would recommend it. $4.49 on that. Next up, we got Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, $2.99 on this. I mean, I recommend Rise of the Tomb Raider in our last under $5 video. Obviously, play Tomb Raider 2013 first. It is great. I am so excited that Lara is back in the mix with Legacy of Atlantis and then Tomb Raider Catalyst in 2027. Back-to-back years with Tomb Raider titles, and Legacy of Atlantis being done by Flying Wild Hog, the same guys that did Shadow Warrior, which we talk up on this channel. But if you want to get excited for those games, man, go play Tomb Raider 2013. It's certainly a great game, and probably after going through this, you'll want to check out ROTR, SOTR as well, and you'll be more invested into the franchise as well, because the games are awesome. Next up, we got Wolfenstein: The New Order, 75% off for $4.99. You can get the 2-pack edition with the Old Blood as well for $7.49, which I think is a pretty good deal. Wolfenstein isn't something to take too seriously, but man, I thought this was a fun first-person shooter, and it was a lengthier campaign. It is single-player only, but Machine Games did a great job with it, and hopefully Wolfenstein is a franchise that they circle back to. Like, I thought Machine Games did a tremendous job with the Indiana Jones game as well, but I still think there's some juice to Wolfenstein as an IP. We'll see if that comes to fruition. $4.99 on that. Next up, now some of you guys might want to take me to the gallows for even recommending it, but hold up. Mass Effect Andromeda Standard Edition is $4.99. I know. This game is cooked when you compare it to the Mass Effect trilogy. However, there are some things to like about this game that I think have been a little bit more relevant in recent years, of people going back and playing this game and talking about it and thinking about, were we a little bit too harsh on Mass Effect Andromeda? And I think the case is there for a couple of reasons. Nowadays, if you go back and play Mass Effect Andromeda, your perception and your opinion of BioWare is in the absolute gutter. They are a shell of their former selves, and you don't have that idea of, oh, you just came off playing the Mass Effect trilogy and Dragon Age, and you're expecting this absolute marquee next-gen RPG, which is what Mass Effect Andromeda was scheduled to be when it came out. When you remove that element and you just go into it as a game in its own right, you realize, yes, narratively, it has some issues. The dialogue isn't great, but the gameplay, as far as Mass Effect gameplay goes, it's pretty darn good. I still like the world in the game, and I thought the environments looked great. For $5, I do think if you go back and play this game, a lot of people will be pleasantly surprised. And it's just not me. This game has 39,000 ratings on the PlayStation Store. It's got a 4.26. That works out to like an 8.5 out of 10 on the PlayStation Store. So take that for what you will. I probably wouldn't give it an 8.5, but the 6.5, 7, I don't think that's the worst score in the world. And I think, again, given that BioWare after Andromeda, I would say, has just gotten even worse, you're going back into this game just expecting a decent RPG, and I think a lot of you guys will be surprised with how much you end up liking it. So $4.99 on that. I don't think it's a terrible pickup, so I thought I would mention it. So hopefully you guys don't take me to the gallows on that one. Darkest Dungeon, 85% off for $3.74. Dark aesthetic, turn-based RPG, gothic, roguelike. There are the stress mechanics, which I know people aren't crazy about, but you'll recruit, train, and lead a team of flawed heroes through twisted forests, forgotten warrens, ruined crypts, and beyond. You'll battle not only unimaginable foes, but stress, famine, disease, and the ever-enraging dark. Uncover strange mysteries and pit your heroes against an array of fearsome monsters with an innovative strategic turn-based combat system that is available for $3.74. Next up, we have the narrative-driven What Remains of Edith Finch. This is available for $4.99. Very much a narrative-heavy game, not action gameplay or anything like that. It's a collection of strange tales about a family in Washington State. As Edith, you'll explore the colossal Finch house, searching for stories as she explores her family history and tries to figure out why she's the last one in her family left alive. Each story you find lets you experience the life of a new family member on the day of their death, with stories ranging from the distant past to the present day. That's available for $4.99. Next up, we have the Limbo and Inside Bundle, $2.69, 90% off on these. Incredibly atmospheric puzzle platformers. They're games that I recommend everybody to play, and for this price point, south of $3 for both titles, obviously a no-brainer there. Then we've got TimeSplitters. Now, you can check out all the TimeSplitter games. They are PS2 on PS4 titles. You've got TimeSplitters 1, TimeSplitters 2, and TimeSplitters Future Perfect, all of them for $2.49 a pop. These are classic shooters from the PlayStation 2 days. Not a series that I grew up with, but I know it's beloved by a lot of people. I believe Homefront Revolution included a like arcade secret where you could play TimeSplitters 2, and that became a way people were checking out TimeSplitters 2 for a while. Thankfully now you can just buy the game outright and you don't have to buy the atrocity that is Homefront the Revolution. But $2.49 on that. And then lastly, we have Risk of Rain, 75% off for $2.49. And for this price point, I would say it's a pretty solid throwback experience. It's an action platformer with roguelike elements with permanent death as a primary feature. Players will have to play their best to get as far as possible, fight on a mysterious planet with randomly spawning enemies, bosses, either alone or with 3 friends in online co-op. That is available for $2.49. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals as a part of the PlayStation Store's holiday sale that is running right now, and these deals were under the price of $5. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.